All right, this is the part that we cut out. You guys are seeing this. You're here early. All right, here we go. Hey guys, what's up? This is Casey.
And Coach Tom.
And this is Shot Science Overtime number 196.
We're almost to 200, Casey.
Yeah, that Philip Cohen. Geez, you were on top of this. Always the first. But this is our live show that we do most every week. And if this is not the tutorial you were looking for, we still have all of our tutorials in our library. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. But this is a longer form show where we get to talk to you guys face to face, or at least screen to screen. And Deets Star, our buddy from Moscow, is here.
All right.
Where we get to talk to you guys, answer some of your questions, and maybe cover a little bit of a topic that we think is going to help you guys out a little bit. So if that's not for you, it's cool. You can go check out the other videos, and we'll see you next time. But this is for those people that want to check it out. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have a topic we're going to talk about at the top of the show. While we're doing that, you guys are going to send us your basketball-related questions. Anything related to shooting, passing, dribbling, defense, how to talk to your coach, athleticism, training, whatever it is, send those questions to us, and we'll try to answer as many as we can. And make sure you follow us on all of our social media stuff. We're Shot Science on everything. Doesn't matter what it is. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. We are Shot Science everywhere. And if you go check out shotscience.com, that's where you have all of our cool gear. So you can get the Shot Science shirts, rock those a little bit. And you can get the training gear like the vertical jump box, the other vertical jump training gear. You can check out the All Access membership pass, which is a great way to kind of take what we show in our tutorials here and step it up and get a little bit more in depth on that stuff. And we really appreciate anybody that gets anything, purchases anything from the Shot Science store, because that really helps us in keeping the Shot Science stuff going. If you guys haven't noticed, it's only basically 3 of us that are running Shot Science, and we run it out of our garage most of the time. So it's not like we're a big company. So any help that you guys have, that's awesome. And if we see people online that are wearing our shirts or are using our gear and they put hashtag Team Shot Science on that stuff, we love to feature those people. So if you want to show up on our Facebook page that has almost 2 million people that follow it, if we see somebody that's rocking a Shot Science shirt and they're doing some basketball drills, that might end up on that page.
Absolutely.
So that's awesome. And we got a lot of people saying, what's up? What's up, O King Sai? What's up, Alfredo Sauce? What's up, Eddie? And our buddy Deets Star, Andrew Zhang, Dream Hoops. These are a lot of the people that we see every week. You guys are on top of it.
Yeah.
So awesome to see you. Okay, so let's jump into our topic. But before we get past our topic, make sure you guys send in your questions, okay? Early questions usually get answered. Okay, so our topic for today is, are you ready for the season? So most people are getting ready, I guess.
Are you ready for the season?
Yeah. I think the NBA season is about 30 days away.
Yeah.
And usually the college and high school follows up a little bit after that.
The colleges start their practices in October, and I think they're early November they're into the games. Okay, well, here's one of the things, or several of the things that we think are really important.
Like get prepped.
Yeah, and one of the things that is really important is, are you ready for the season? Does that mean that you've spent time working on your ball skills? Does that mean that you've spent time working on your passing, your ball, or your shooting? All that stuff is so important. And sometimes we wait until it gets close, and then all of a sudden we're in a panic. How do we do this? How do we do that?
Well, usually we come on our live show and we have a bunch of people saying, Coach, I have a tournament tomorrow. What do I do? Or the season starts, or the tryouts are tomorrow. What do I do?
Yeah, exactly.
That is not the time to really be asking that question.
Absolutely.
You guys still have several weeks to maybe a couple months before the season picks up again.
Well, let's back up for just a second. We're talking about basketball in the United States when we say that.
Yeah.
I mean, really aware of what the situation is maybe in other countries around the world.
And you can always have like a summer league or a spring league or whatever it is. Yeah. But when it comes down to preparing for anything, this kind of is what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly right.
So one of the things that you don't want to do is put it off or wait till the last minute, because you don't have any power to change that stuff once you get down to the line.
No. You have to have time to put that all together. And so that's important that you maybe get started on that right away.
There is no way to go from no ball handling to Kyrie Irving in one night. And there's nothing
or even 1 month
that we can say to you that will make you do that. So you have to start now. Right.
Okay. Yeah, true. Okay. Let's kind of move backward just a little bit. Casey brought up an issue here just a moment ago where he's talking about people who call or contact us the day before or a couple of days before their tryouts, and they want us to give them some magic. Well, we can't do that. One of the things that we think is really important, though, is in preparation for that, is that you take a look at our videos on how to make the team. And those things I think are really important.
And those are like last minute things that you can do.
Yeah, you can do those at the last minute.
Those are not skill building. Yeah. Those are more kind of like mental things or leadership things that you can do. Yeah,
and it's really important that you be kind of aware of what coaches are looking for in players. And to be very honest with you, probably most coaches have a pretty good idea who they're going to take and who they're not going to take.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. Is that when you go to a tryout and any tryout, usually coaches know who they're going to have.
Yeah.
There might be a few wild cards that they add in at the end, but typically tryouts they're kind of just to appease the masses.
Well,
really.
That's really true. And coaches are realistic in this review too, is that there might be somebody walk through the door they don't know about.
Yeah.
And those people, they're going to give them a long look.
But the other thing is that if your coach or the coach that you want to play for doesn't know you before you go to tryouts, you have made a major mistake.
Exactly.
You should know that guy or that lady. You should go to the open gyms. You should, go to the maybe preseason stuff.
Well, go to their office or classroom or something like that. Introduce yourself and tell them that you want to play basketball and that you're checking to see when tryouts are.
Do a little research on them and see if maybe they're coaching a summer league team or whatever it is. But don't have the first introduction of yourself when you walk through the doors at tryouts.
If you walk through the door and that's your first contact, they may not even notice that you're there. And so unless you're really, really outstanding.
And you might have an off day. Yeah. You might have a real bad day at the gym.
Yeah.
And then what?
Yeah, that's true. And then we hear this kind of a criticism after the fact. Well, I'm better than 5 or 6 of those guys that he selected. I don't know why he didn't take me or why she didn't take me. The thing that's important to remember is that you've got to go there and you've got to exhibit the things that you have in the way of skills to play the basketball game.
Yeah.
They don't have time, an awful lot of time, to teach anybody, especially at the varsity levels, how to play the game. You kind of know that, you have to know that coming in. And so it's really important for you to spend time getting some of that experience. Some of you may get it in playing on travel teams. Some of you may get it at playing at the Y or places like that. But the important thing is don't go there without being prepared, or it's probably not going to work out for you. Okay, and I kind of know that from personal experience because I think I started trying to play on the middle school team or junior high school team when I was in the 6th grade. I didn't make it 6, didn't make it 7, didn't make it 8, and didn't make it my 9th. And finally, as a sophomore, I got picked. And this was a little school, had about 400 students, and then fortunately for me, I moved to another area. And they were able to take me in just because out of the goodness of their heart, and probably feeling sorry for me because I was a yokel from the middle of Arizona. Anyway, they brought me in and let me play and taught me how to play the game, and that otherwise I probably wouldn't be here talking to you today. So it's important that you be prepared before you go to those tryouts. Okay, let's go on.
Yeah, you can't roll out of bed and expect to make the team.
No, and you don't want to spend your time criticizing the coach for the people he took instead of you. What you want to do is find out, why did he take them instead of me?
Yeah, you need to make your case to be more valuable.
Yeah.
It isn't up to the coach. It isn't up to those other players. And if you don't make your case, then it probably was a lot closer than you thought it was.
Yes. Okay, and so now the other things that are really important, and are you ready for the season, are these. Usually, in fact, I read this comment recently, and I really liked it. and that is this: is that if you are the same player in September that you were in June, then you haven't done your homework.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that was something that was a quote from John Wooden. I haven't actually quoted it correctly, maybe, but that was his upshot. You have to prepare for the season, and you can't wait until just a few weeks before it starts. But if here you are, and we're 6 weeks before starting high school basketball in the United States, mostly around the country, it may vary a week or two, one way or the other. But the thing is, you should be out pounding that basketball today, every day, for the next 6 weeks to get yourself better, shooting
but
the
with
basketball
purposefully too.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing that excuse me, that we've been working on recently with some of our guys and girls too, is that they are working on learning how to play at game speed, and that is varsity game speed. And even if they're younger players, like we have a freshman today who's about 6'5", and he's just kind of he knows how to play okay, but he just doesn't have much get up and go. And so we've been really stressing that he has to execute everything at a varsity level speed, and he's getting better at it every time he does it. And the other thing is that we want to make sure that we're working on those skills so we get better at varsity speed. And we're talking varsity girls, varsity boys. Now, if you start that early enough, you're going to be ahead of the game on younger teams. If you're really working yourself to death, trying to be at a varsity level, speed of execution, you're only a sophomore and you're not playing a varsity, that is a real plus for you. So another question comes in, why would I want to do that? I'm not going to play the varsity. Well, it's very obvious. You're going to have an advantage over the people that you're playing with. And we don't want to practice at practice speed. Practice speed is probably about 50% of the speed of execution that you probably need. Maybe it's 55%, but it's not enough. And so when the games start, the games are just, you can't keep up with it. And so the important things is make sure that you work on your speed of execution on everything you do. This young guy is a post player, and he's been working on attacking the basket off the drop step and the spin move. And all of a sudden today, they're starting to show that there is explosion, there is quickness. And he's going to be a really, really good player who's going to end up probably being about 6'10". His dad is a 6'8" guy. And so now he started early. Okay, and that early start for him is going to really help him. You need to get into that early start too. Okay?
Yeah, I think that's the upshot, is that we're telling you guys right now,
yeah,
now is the time. You don't want to wait. You don't want to hope for the magic pill right before you go to tryouts or practice or whatever it is.
Or then whine afterwards when you don't make the team because you didn't prepare yourself.
Yeah, and if you find that you're one of those players that is going to complain about, oh, so-and-so is on the team and I should be there and they shouldn't, well, then you didn't make a good enough case for you to be on the team.
Yeah,
I mean, that's, you know, a lot of times players or coaches will play favoritism. That's one of the reasons why we say know them before the tryouts.
Exactly.
And, you know, one of the other things is that favoritism, that's totally up to them.
Yeah.
They get to pick the team.
Yeah.
And if you make a big enough case that you should be there, then that kind of goes out the window. So make your case for being there.
One of the points of selection of players that we don't really think about very much is the coaches oftentimes are looking for good guys or good girls.
Or good fits.
They're good fits. They're nice people. They play really hard. They support their other teammates. I mean, and yet maybe they're an average player. And you love to have those kind of people on your team because they help raise the level of play of most everybody just because of who they are. And so it's important that you kind of get to know that coach early so they can, that guy, he's a cool guy. I like him. I like the way he expresses himself. Let's see what he can do when he has a ball in his hand. Oh, he can shoot the ball a little bit. Oh, that's cool. He's so slow on defense. I don't know what he'll do. He's pulling a piano around on defense, but okay, we'll take and work on that. And so maybe those are things that you work on to take and allow that coach to know you before you ever show up at practice for the making the team. Okay.
Okay. So the take-home message is don't wait, get started.
Yes.
And then all those other little tidbits, those are important things too.
Yeah.
So make sure that you guys are not the players that are waiting to the last minute to get this stuff done.
You may be disappointed if you are.
Yeah. Okay. So if you have more questions about that stuff, let us know.
Yeah.
We'll try to get to those. But make sure that you guys are leaving your questions about anything basketball related: shooting, passing, dribbling, defense, how to talk to your coach, athleticism, whatever, how to make the team, and we will get to those. But we have a question for you guys first. Yeah. So our question is the one that we ask every week that we have these shows, and it's one of those that it makes us feel really good to know. But we want to know this question:
where are you located in the world?
Yeah, we want to know where you guys are from, where Team Shot Science has reached. We want to know if you are from Japan, if you are from Tasmania, if you are from Egypt, if you are from
Lithuania. Okay.
Yeah, because
we love Lithuania.
Lithuania is a big basketball country, but we want to know where you guys are from. Like, we got Football Challenge 21, who's from Oklahoma. We have Justin Froy, who says greetings from Germany. Christopher Duarte, who says Croatia. Wout Ritz from Belgium. Andrew Zhang from New York. Mustafa Medinci is from Tasmania. Are you kidding me? You're joking, right? Didn't I just say Tasmania? And then we know we have our friend Denvi Star, who's here from Moscow. Yeah. And Philip Cohn. Where are you from, Philip? I always forget. We have Nook Gilbert from Saskatchewan. King Sai from Vegas, LA 157 Mary 4 in my living room. Thanks for asking.
All right.
Cool. So you guys keep telling us where you guys are from. Andrew Zhang's from New York. Right. We are in Santa Cruz, California. So we are south of San Francisco on the coast, and it's so cool to see where you guys are all from.
Yeah, it is.
And if you could spread the word about Shot Science, wear a Shot Science shirt in your town when you go to those basketball games. It would be super cool. Yeah. Okay, but let's get into.
But when you do that, make sure you get a picture of yourself at that game with our shirt on. Okay?
Yeah, and send it to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's get into answering some of these.
All right.
Andrew Zhang is asking, why is my follow through not straight?
Well, I think down below he says something more about that. Maybe it's the same thing. Why is it not?
Why does it cross?
Okay, why does it cross? And what I'm thinking you're probably saying is that on the release, your hands cross this way. Well, anything that you do with the basketball in the way of a stroke and stroke mechanics, you have control over. And the main thing is understand what you need to do with that stroke. It needs to come right straight through to the basket. And oftentimes, I'll back up here a little bit, you can find your hand turning to the side or pronating. Sometimes it turns the other way, which is supination, and you don't really want that to happen. So you're in control of that, and as long as you understand what it is that you're doing or not doing, then you should be able to make changes in it.
Yeah.
How do you make changes? Well, you mentally focus on what it is that you want to get done until it becomes a matter of muscle memory.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was going to say is that so many people ask us questions and they've already identified the issue.
Yeah.
My elbow's out, or I'm not shooting straight, my follow through isn't to the basket, I'm not getting my legs engaged, whatever it is. But it's like you have done the hard work in figuring out what is the problem.
Right.
What you have to do now is apply the 3 pillars of practice. And the first pillar is dialing in your mechanics.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got to slow
learning what it is you need to do.
You got to slow everything way back down. You got to diligently train yourself. Okay, my arm needs to go right here. I need to stop flaring out.
I don't want to cross them.
Yep. And you need to take it piece by piece and get all those repetitions in. Right. Then you will start to make it second nature.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, now let me run something else by you. Oftentimes, some of those arm finish problems have to do with how you're gripping the basketball. And I'm going to take just a second to kind of show you this. This is something that we're going to do a video on it pretty quick here, Casey. Imagine that the basketball is a clock face, okay? And when you put your fingers on the basketball, this finger right here should be pointing to 12 or even 12:15 o'clock, okay? What happens is that when we turn this finger toward 11 o'clock, what happens is our elbow goes out. And so as those fingers rotate like this, and we've got this up at 12, maybe even 12:30, then what happens is our elbow is in. And when our elbow is in, we tend to shoot the ball in a straight.
But maybe we should watch that.
Yeah, if we knew when it was on.
Who are you watching? See here.
There's that. Where's the link? I think he was asking about why. You went past it here. Oking.
I don't know what he's talking about though.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Get back to us and tell us what
Okay.
you meant about that link.
Origbo Voke is that.
And you can help yourself by having somebody videoing you while you're shooting. That is really important because you don't know necessarily how you're shooting the basketball. And so if you have a video, oh, okay, I see I'm doing this instead of that, and you can kind of evaluate it for yourself. And that's how you get better with it, okay?
Yeah, and you really have to get just the repetitions going and break it down. That first pillar practice is super important.
Yeah, and you know, you've heard this term so much probably. All of this is a matter of muscle memory, and it is. You have to teach yourself what is the proper way to execute this and work on it and work on it and work on it until the neurology part of your brain accepts that whole thing and you begin to shoot it that way. And even then, you know, we have players who we maybe don't see for a month or two, and they'll come back and my shot's a mess, coach. I don't know what's going on. And really, it's some little thing that they have let happen that they were unaware of, and usually we correct that, and things start to get going for them again.
Yep. Guys, let us know if you're having problems with the video feed. It looks like it's kind of an output is low, so let us know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Himanshu, it seems like you're really excited for this show to start. So cool. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Origbo Vogue says, how does putting ice on your body help? Putting ice on your body helps with the inflammation, and
it stimulates blood flow to that particular area. That's the essence of it. And when you have more blood flow to an area, maybe where you have a sprain, what happens is that as it moves more blood through there, it helps in the healing process.
Yeah, well, it helps control inflammation.
Well, and the other thing that it helps to control is it helps to control swelling.
Yeah, well, which is the inflammation.
Yeah, when we injure ourselves, particularly in our limbs, we tend to have swelling that takes place, like your ankles is a huge one. And you want to keep that reduced because what happens when you have a lot of that swelling, it's trying to protect that particular area of injury by creating pressure from the inside with all of the blood and what is the other fluid that there's, I've forgotten now what it was. But anyway.
Well, it's just trying to restrict you from using that joint.
Exactly. And so sometimes movement of that joint, as long as they're not playing again, really helps it in its recovery cycle too.
Yeah, and there's so many different injuries that, you know, sometimes it's heat, sometimes it's ice, sometimes it's whatever, rest, sometimes it's everything. So you need to get, you know, kind of that sorted with your doctors and things like that, because every injury has a different probably approach to it. Right. Bulldogs, hello from sunny northern Michigan. That's our friend that, you know, we checked out their shot.
We believe you. It's sunny.
Yeah.
Let's see what it's like in November and December.
Yeah.
January. Will it be so sunny there?
Let's see here. Oh, Deceased Bottom says, hey, from Michigan.
All right.
Andrew Zing says, I love that tip. I think it was the one where we were talking about making sure that you talk to your coach before, or know your coach before the tryouts. Batman Robin says, hey guys, what's up? You're here again. Samin says, hey. Batman Robin says, how can I play basketball smarter? As soon as I get the ball, I don't think I'm going to do the right move at the right time. I don't know whether to pass, drive to the basket, dribble, or shoot.
You know, that all comes down to a couple of principles. Number one is to try and develop confidence in what you were doing as a player on the floor. How do you do that? Well, you accept failure and you try to get better in a lot of different ways. And when you start to get better, your confidence begins to soar. And when you have more confidence, you have a tendency to then make better decisions about what it is that you're going to do with the ball or the pass or the shot or whatever it is.
And you have to have confidence in your skills to have confidence in the execution of your skills.
Exactly right.
And so, you know, so many people, they practice and they do kind of like a shoot around.
Now, hold on a second. Explain what that means.
Well, that's
so
what I'm
they
saying.
Understand. Okay.
So a lot of people say, you know, I practice basketball 3 hours a day or whatever. And so they go and you watch what they're actually doing, and it's more like a shoot around, a casual kind of approach to basketball. Maybe they do a couple of moves, never the same one more than once or twice in a row. But when you try to get better at basketball and you try to step up your skills, number one, we say use the 3 pillars of practice. And just the very quick crib notes on that is the first pillar is just the dialing in diligent approach to practice where you're getting all the mechanics in place. The second pillar is game speed, game intensity, where you're amping up, adding in a defender, or you're going off the dribble or off the pass, trying to get it to game speed, game intensity. And the third pillar is actual game experience. So you have to work using that, and you have to have a diligent, purposeful approach to everything that you do. You can't just go...
Explain for him what game situation means.
What do you mean?
It's not just playing on a team. It is maybe just a pickup game at the Y. Maybe it's going out to a playground and you have a group of guys there that play.
Yeah, it's getting experience on the court, and not just going out there and playing, but using the stuff that you have been working on in game game time.
Right.
But having a purposeful, diligent approach to your practice will help you take it so much further than you will be able to if you're just casually going out there, because that doesn't translate to playing in a game. That just is kind of screwing around. Exactly. You'll never find yourself just casually shooting a fadeaway or flipping the ball over your head as you walk by. I mean, that just doesn't happen in a game. So you have to train for being in a game. But being smarter, you have to get more experience. That third pillar is going to be very important. And knowing what to do and when to do it, that comes from experience. But also kind of watch some of our videos on offensive moves and stuff. And we talk about, the spacing of the defense and where the defense is and what you should do in certain situations. And that will help you kind of make a little bit of a leap past some of the learning curve. But a lot of it is kind of getting experience doing it. And like you were saying, not being afraid of failure. That's not failure on the basketball court. I mean, unless you have like an absolute personal meltdown and you're yelling, craziness at the top of your lungs and spinning on the ground and, calling people out. That's like something that you should be worried about. But if you miss a shot, or if you kick the ball out of bounds on a dribble attack, or if you get beat on defense, those are failures, but they teach you something, and you can use those to get better.
Josh TM there has responded, and why don't you read that?
Josh TM says, Batman Robin, it sounds like you just need more confidence and experience. I used to be like that, but I played a lot more often and slowly that quit happening. Yeah.
And then right below that is
Batman says, Josh TM, okay, thanks. That's what I think as well. I need more game experience. Good. You guys figured it out even without our help. So hopefully us verbalizing it didn't make it any more confusing. LA 15 7 Mary 4 says, glad you're back. I've been worried sick. Yeah, sometimes we have to take a week or two off just because we have other things that come up on Sundays. We try to be here as often as possible, but it doesn't always happen. Justin Froy says, I'm an international player and I'm going to play for a very good NAIA school, but I want to transfer to a better school, D1. Do you have any tips to get offers from other colleges? Yeah. Okay. So when you say that a D1 school is a better school, I don't necessarily agree with that.
No.
It's just a different level of basketball.
Yeah. You say you're coming to play NAIA basketball. One of the things you're going to find out after playing there is that those schools are usually smaller schools, maybe in the 2,500 student body area, but they really play good basketball, really good basketball. And you might be really satisfied to play there because you probably maybe play more. If you wanted to go on to a D1 school, then you have to have some way of getting the information to these D1 schools where you think you can play and get that out to them in the form of a video or recommendations from coaches or things like that. I think you're going to be really happy with playing at a NAIA school. One of the things that's really cool about that is D3 basketball is really good around this whole country. But they can't give you athletic scholarships. That's part of D3.
They can give you academic ones.
They give you academic ones, and they'll grants and things like that to help you to get on through. They're usually pretty expensive, but the NAIA schools can offer scholarships, and maybe you've got one of those already. Okay?
Well, here's the other thing too, is that you. What was I going to say? I think one of the things that you need to realize is that maybe D1 isn't for you. It depends.
Yeah.
Maybe D2 isn't for you. Maybe we don't know. But every level of basketball, there is a different kind of player that is kind of what they're looking for.
Fits in that program.
And that doesn't mean that there can't be outliers or whatever. But, you know, a lot of times D1 players are a certain body type. They're a certain level of athleticism. And they're a certain level of skill. And, you know, it changes from the different levels. Just because you're in D3 doesn't mean your skill level isn't at the level of a D1.
Yeah.
But maybe your body type doesn't really apply to D1, and you fit better at D3. Or, you know, maybe it's some other variation of that. And maybe you are a D1 player, but you have different aspirations academically or professionally or whatever. So maybe you play D3 instead as a way to kind of, you know, apply your basketball talents to maybe push that stuff forward. It's very complicated.
Yeah.
But if you want to play at a different school, I think that the best way is to do all the stuff that we've said before, which is you need to be proactive. You need to reach out to coaches. You need to put together your highlight reel, your best half of basketball, your testimonials all in one video, and send those to the schools that you are interested in.
Yeah. And if they are interested, they will get back to you.
And, you know, expect to not be contacted back because it's a long shot. And you need to reach out to the coach, the head coach. You can find out who their assistants are, who their, you know, personal assistant people type are. And you can reach out to all those people. You have to be proactive. You have to be creative. You have to figure it out. But that still doesn't guarantee you anything.
Right. I was just reading recently, maybe yesterday, about a young player from one of the D3 schools back in the East, and that he was transferring to a D1 school. You do not see that often. You don't see it often.
Yeah,
okay,
not to say it doesn't happen, though.
Nope.
But this is also an international player, so.
Yep.
Okay. Oak King Sai says, is it too late to get in shape?
No.
You got 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah. You can get in really pretty good shape in that length of time, for sure.
We would just say train for basketball-specific functionality.
Yeah.
Don't go long-distance running just because you ran 10 miles or 12 miles. That doesn't translate to basketball. Sprints translate to basketball. So, you know, we talk about interval training. That is much more akin to basketball. Okay. And Justin Freud, by the way, is from Germany.
All right, Justin.
He was the guy that asked the international question. Elapse Basketball asks, what attributes would your dream team captain have?
That's a really interesting question. Well, one of the things that I think is really important for a captain of any team is that he have the respect of his coach and he have the respect of his players. Oftentimes you have players on the team who don't necessarily respect the person that is regarded as the team captain, and that causes dissension. But if you get in, and coaches try to generate a good feeling amongst all of their players so that they have a certain camaraderie that they exhibit when they play. And oftentimes you play a lot better when you all like each other and support each other. One of the things I think is ways that coaches do that is when a player comes off the floor, every player that's on the bench is up and shaking, giving him a high five or her a high five as they come by and sit down. You're supporting that person. Here's another thing that I think is really important, and I don't know if this is necessarily has so much to do with this topic, but one of the things that often happens is players who don't play very much, they tend to sit down toward the end of the bench. Mistake. You want to sit as close to the coaches as you can, because oftentimes they make very quick decisions and look, and there you are. All right, you're in. If you sit at the end of the bench, oftentimes what happens is that you get involved in things that are not even have to do with the game. You're waving at people over there in the bleachers, or pointing a finger there at somebody else in the bleachers, and you are not involved in the game. He calls your name, you come up, you don't even know what's going on in the game, and you go in cold, and you don't want that to happen. You want to make sure that you are a part of the basketball game, even though you're sitting over there on the sideline, and maybe even if you don't play an awful lot.
Yeah, and one of the other things too that you really want to kind of keep aware of is that team captains need to kind of set the tone. They need to be leaders. They need to do all these things that kind of other players, maybe they don't have it in themselves to do, and that's why that person is the team captain. Look at our video called make the team or making the team, and it has all the things that we think are important for a kind of leadership type person to have.
That's a good point, Casey.
Okay. Nook Gilbert says, sorry, I didn't hear if you answered my question about shooting off the catch. Should I stay low even though it's harder for me to shoot, or should I kind of dip the ball to get momentum, which helps me?
Dipping the ball does not help you.
Dipping the ball only helps you create rhythm, but you can do that with your footwork.
Exactly right.
And so,
and it's quicker. You get rid of the ball quicker. I don't remember seeing that question either, but
okay. Well, he says my coach always says to stay low when I catch and shoot, but my shot works and feels way better when I dip before I shoot. What should I do? I think that the thing is that number one, you probably haven't done it very much, and number two, you can't just catch a ball, from a pass, stand still, and then shoot it with zero rhythm. Well, that is uncomfortable. It's awkward. That is why people do that dipping motion, is because it gives them that kind of rhythm that they need. Problem is, it takes time. It exposes the ball to the defense, and you can do it better by using footwork. So using footwork and stepping into the pass and stepping into your shot, you are taking care of the rhythm generation. You're staying low. You're not having to go up and down. You're shooting your shot from low to high instead of high to low to high. And it really is a more efficient approach to shooting. And it doesn't expose the ball to defense. It does all these things that are better. So you need to not catch the ball at a standstill and then try to shoot it. You always need to be stepping into it.
Well, and your coach is telling you to stay low probably for another big reason, and that is this. If you take a look at where the power is generated from your body to shoot the basketball, it's kind of this kind of a division. Probably your shoulders and arms, we call that the shoulder girdle. Those are going to provide 25 to 30% of the power that you can generate for shooting. Okay, and if we do that, and we try to exceed that, usually our shot really falls apart. It just really falls apart.
Yeah.
And so remembering this from your midline of your body, your abs and middle body, hips, thighs, all those are big muscles. And so they provide about 70% of the power that you need for shooting. And so if you stay low, now that doesn't have, you don't want to be in a full crouch, but you want to have those knees bent so that you can generate the power for your shot from that part of your body. And this part of your body here generates a little power, but it also controls where the basketball is going to go. Okay, if you try to get more power out of the arms, usually your ball is going to go right, or it's going to go left, long, short. Okay, because you're trying to rely on it for power. Let the power come from the lower body. You'll find you're a lot more successful.
Yeah. Okay, let's lightning round this a little bit because we're going to have to wrap up here pretty soon.
Okay.
But Sean Bennett's asking, why doesn't my tendonitis heal? Don't know. You got to go talk to your doctor.
Yeah, exactly. We're not medical people.
That's not something that you should be asking people that aren't your doctor's questions.
Yeah.
I don't know. I often miss my open layups as I panic in these situations. Is there a way to make my layups more automatically?
Well, okay.
I think that part of it is you need to focus on the finish. So many people get caught up in everything else that's going on. They're like, oh gosh, there's 4 guys running after me. The crowd's screaming. My coach is yelling at me. What? You can't think about all that other stuff. You got to think about, okay, focus on the finish. I'm putting the ball right there on the backboard. The other thing is that you shouldn't take a layup that doesn't use the backboard. One of the biggest mistakes and one of the kind of the most tragic shots in basketball is the fast break layup that the guy lays up over the front of the rim and it either swirls around and out or it just banks in or hits off the back of the rim and bounces out. Those are heartbreakers. I've seen Patrick Ewing do it, and in the conference finals back in the 90s. I've seen Russell Westbrook do it. Similar thing. Yeah. You can't shoot a layup without the backboard and expect it to go in with the regularity that it would if you did.
Yeah.
So those are the big things, I would think.
Well, there's one more thing that I think really helps a lot. And that is you maybe want to take and start shooting your lay-ins underhanded.
They could be doing that already, though.
Anyway, we're bringing them up like this as opposed to having the hands behind that. The reason for that is that if you have run-up speed of 4 or 5 miles per hour and you've got your hand behind the basketball like this, when you put it up, no matter how softly you put it up there, your run-up speed is going to make that ball hit the backboard and pop all the way back out to the free throw line. So by having an underhand finish like this and allowing the ball to run off or come off your fingers and still hit that corner of the target box on the back, you're going to find that the ball is much more likely to go in a basket.
And also practice that with other people to get that scenario worked out. That's the second pillar of practice on that. Okay, I broke my own rule of lightning round. So
all right, here
let's
we go.
do a couple quick ones.
Okay.
Alfredo Sauce asks, how can I improve my catch and shoot? Practice.
Yeah,
you got to do the 3 pillars on that one.
Yeah.
Sean Bennett asks, how many hours at game speed should I train to get to the NBA? Get into the NBA is a long-term goal. You should set short-term progressive goals before you start setting that as your only goal.
Exactly right.
And the other thing is that you can't just practice game speed. You got to do the 3 pillars of practice. Game speed is an aspect of it, but that's just one thing.
Yeah.
Zeno says, "Hey guys, my basketball season already started. We had our first game yesterday. Unfortunately, we lost by 5 and feel I should have done more, probably taken more shots. I hit 2 threes, but only took 2. Well, I mean, you got to take that as kind of information for next time. And
here's the approach that I think is really important when you are able to shoot the ball effectively, and it sounds like maybe you can do that, is that you should be taking, in a regulation game, you should be taking somewhere between 10 and maybe 14 shots a game if you can effectively shoot the basketball. And let's say that you make 40% of those. Well, right away you can figure that what that equals to, especially for shooting some threes there and getting those in. And so if you're a good shooter, you need to provide that for your team. If you are not shooting because you missed 1 or 2, and that players do that. They miss 1 or 2 or 4 shots, and I'm not shooting anymore. And so what happens is that he can't shoot very well either. And what happens? So you lose by 5 points. I mean, you figure that's not very much. But if you take 14 shots or something like that in the course of a game, and you make half of them, well, that's 7 shots. That's 21 points. Okay, and you're not likely to make half.
oh man.
Okay.
So nobody can see us, I guess. Are you guys there? How lame.
Looks like they're going away.
Yep.
Mannequin challenge winner.
Hopefully it'll come back on.
Huh?
I think they said we're back on. All right, sorry guys. We're gonna try to get this in before it cuts out on us again. If we didn't get your question, it's not because we didn't like you. We ran out of time. Make sure you guys tell us in the comments where you guys are from. That's our question of the day. Maybe tell us. Our second question is, what are you going to be playing basketball on a team in the next coming months? Let us know. We want to know who's going to be having tryouts, who's going to be playing on a team. Let us know that. So where are you from, and are you going to be playing on a team this season or having tryouts this season? We want to know what's going on with you guys. And make sure you guys check out shotscience.com. You guys can get shirts. which we would really appreciate. That helps us very much. You can get the training gear like the vertical jump box. Go check out the all access membership area. That's where we get into super detail beyond what we do on YouTube in terms of drills and demonstrations and breakdowns and all that. And we will see you guys next time. Sorry about the internet stuff.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Can't help it.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys later.